Let's make this beautiful gather circle skirt together. It is made with chiffon fabric and I used an elastic for the band. Please make sure to like, subscribe and comment on my video. Thank you. We'll be needing chiffon fabric 2 years for this project. Lining 60 inches by 18 inches. You can also cut out the same measurement with the skirt. Zip, elastic band. Check the measurements on the screen. To make our skirts, we first need to determine how much fabric we need. The total length of fabric needed is the length of the skirt plus the radius of the circle. Remember, we are multiplying our waist measurement by 2 to have a lot of room for gathers. Please make sure to look on the screen for the formulas. So the radius of my circle is about 8.5 inches plus the length of my skirts 21 inches, and I've approximated it to 30 inches. So I've folded my fabric into 4, 2 lengthwise and 2 crosswise, with each measuring 30 inches. When it's not on fold, it is 60 inches by 60 inches. I've marked the total length of my skirt, which is 30 inches, the total length required. I'm moving to mark the radius of my circle, 8.5 inches. It was 8.9, but I left about 0.5 inches for seam allowance. That's the line I've drawn there, and I'll cut it out. When I cut out the total length and the radius, I'll have my skirt's length. So I've opened up my circle by slitting one part and I've notched the center. I'm cutting out my elastic piece to my waist length. Lining material, I'm using 18 inches by 16 inches, so I'm marking it out and I'll cut out and set aside. From the center I had notched, I'm going to make gather stitches on either side. You can decide to make a long one from one side to the other, but it will be too cumbersome, and especially for beginners. But before you do so, fold in the edge of your skirt. You can decide to sew the raw edge first and double sew again, but I'll just be folding it once, as you've seen in the video. Fold it in carefully and sew well so that you have a clean finish. You can decide to pleat. If it comes out a little long, just make a little pleat on the fold before you proceed. I'm going to be patient with this process since it's a very long stitch. Once I'm done stitching, I've moved over to the part I notched, and I'm drawing out a long piece of thread from the center, and I'm making my gather stitches. Remember to set your stitch length to the highest when carrying out this process, and I'm just dragging the fabric while sewing. I'm going to do this 2 times on one side and repeat same on the other side. While cutting out too, just make sure you have a long room of thread so that you pull your fabric. I'm done sewing my gather stitches, and I'm separating the stitches at the center so that I'll be able to pull easily. The reason why I started from the center is also so that if the thread breaks at a point, it's easier to control than when you have just one long piece from one side. Once you're done, proceed to pleating your lining fabric on the skirt. Distribute evenly till the entire length of the skirt. Once you are done with the stitching, proceed to removing the threads you use for the gathers. I used a separate color while stitching my lining on my skirt, so it was easy to pick out the threads I used for the gathers. Stitch the lining on the sides of the fabric. When you are done, sew the two sides together. I'm done sewing and I'm pinning down the elastic band on my skirts. Proceed to sew the elastic on your skirts as I'm doing now, and make sure the length you left at the side will be enough for your zipper. It's time to fix the zip. I'm going to sew it down on the sides of my skirts, and once I'm done, my skirt is ready. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.